Hey guys, I've been seeing a lot of questions about the differences between the Bitwarden packages, so the free account and the premium account and the family or enterprise accounts. So I've already covered a video about free and premium in one of my earlier videos. I'll put that link in the description below. But today we're going to cover what the family accounts are like and how to have organizations and share passwords. And actually there's a way to do this for free with the free account, or you can upgrade to the paid accounts. So let's get started. Okay, so like I said, we're going to cover what the family or organizational, like business accounts are. So this gives you the opportunity to share either notes or passwords in your vault with other members of a team or family. Really, there's not a whole lot of difference between the enterprise and the family account. It's mostly just the number of collections you can have, the number of people you can have involved, and there's a few other little features like that. But ultimately, if you're using this for like a family/friends environment, use the family plan. If you're using this in a business environment, you can use the enterprise plan and scale up as much as you like. So we're going to start off just quickly looking at their website and just comparing some of the packages and getting into some of the definitions there. And then I'll actually show you a lab where we have two users and we'll set up a collection and share the information that way. It is a little bit different than LastPass if you're used to that. LastPass was nice in the sense that you can just kind of put in an email address and share like individual components of your vault with another LastPass user. Bitwarden's a little bit different. You have a collection and then you add people to an organization and then ultimately the collection and off they go. But let's show that in the demo. So let's just quickly look at their website. So here you got your free plan, which works great for most people, and I'll even show you how you can do some of this sharing of your collection with that free account, so you don't even have to pay. Although if you did want to pay, $10 a year is a pretty awesome price, and I covered that in my earlier video about the premium account and what you get with that. And then there's a family plan as well, so $40 a year, and that gives everybody the premium features, and you get up to 6 users to share as a family. So if you kind of look at the chart as a comparison, so you have your individual plan here. So this is your free one. It's got everything that you would really need for most users. The premium plan, which is nice, it gives you a little bit of capacity, so 1 gig of personal sharing, but it doesn't give you, it says there's no max collections in here. And that does it for both free and premium. But I'll show you in both the free account and the premium account, it does let you do 2 collections with 1 user for free. So what I'm going to show you is included in the free plan, even though it's not really on this chart. I don't know why they do that. And then the family plan, you have unlimited collections with up to 6 people. So I think what this chart really should say is that this should say 2 and this should say 2. And this should say 2 and this should say 2, so that you can actually share 2 collections with up to 2 people, so 1 other person, and be able to do that. So again, I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much the same. In the family plan, you get a little bit more of the send features, you get a little bit more storage, you get some of the other kind of reports and stuff like that. So pretty much everything I had covered in that premium video that we talked about, where I'll show you the reports, the emergency access, all of those kinds of things, that's all still included in the family. So today is really about how you create an organization and a collection and then share stuff back and forth. So let's dive into it. Okay, so on the left-hand side, I've got 1 account here. This is my premium account, and this is just another random one I set up called Jane Smith, and this is just a free run-of-the-mill account. So to set up, basically the way Bitwarden does it is you set up an organization. So that could be your family name, so it could be like the Bolton family or whatever, Smith family, and then, or it can be a company, so ABC company, whatever the organization is. And then under that organization, you have a collection. So you can kind of think of collections, especially in an organization, as departments. So if there's a company, you might have one for accounting or one for IT or something like that. If it's your house, you might have one for like maybe kids, if you have kids that are older, like teenagers or something, and you want to have, stuff that they would have access to, like maybe the family Amazon account or something like that. I don't know. But if you wanted one just between you and your spouse, then maybe you'd have, like a parental collection as well. So you'd have 1 collection maybe for the parents and 1 collection for the kids that both the parents and the kids would be in. And those collections are completely separate, and the rights inside of those collections can be controlled as well. So we'll talk about that. But the first thing you do is you create an organization and then you create the collections. So I'm just going to show you with the free account just so you can see how to do this. Under settings, you go to organizations, you can create a new organization. And right here it says choose your plan. And it says for testing or personal users, they can share with one other person. You're limited to 2 users, including your account. So you can share with one more person, and you can limit it to 2 collections. So, and it's free forever. I didn't even know this existed. When I went to go set up this video, I saw this, and like I showed you in their website, they don't even talk about collections. So I use collections all the time in my premium and enterprise accounts. But here, right here on a free account, I can create an organization, I can share with one other person, and I can create 2 collections, and most people would just need 1 collection. So if you have like a roommate and you want to just share, I don't know, your utility bill accounts with, or you and your spouse or something like that, this will probably work great for most of you guys. The only limitation is that you don't get any storage. So that's kind of nice about the family plan or the premium plan, where you can kind of upload like pictures of your ID or something like that into the vault as well if you wanted backups of those. But other than that, you can do this for free. So I might email Bitwarden and see if they want to maybe update that chart. Anyways, this is a pretty cool feature. So anyways, I'm going to do this with the premium account. I'm going to create the organization. So here's the organization. I'm going to create a new organization, and I'm going to call it Tristan YouTube Channel org. And it could be anything you want, Smith family, whatever you want. This is the name of the company, and you'll put collections under this. They do need a billing address, so I'm just going to put my demo email address in there. You can say this is owned by a business. You can put a business name. This is just for billing purposes, so they can bill you. So for here, I'm just going to do the free account, and off they go. But if you wanted to upgrade to the family plan, you could do that as well. You'll get all the support. It's not a lot of money, but you can do this for free. So let's just see how far we can get on free. So let's go ahead and submit that organization. And now it's going to take me to an organizational vault. So this is the organization's vault. So if I go back to my vault, you can see I have a Twitter account in here. But if I go back to the organization, here it is on my right, then I can see the organization's vault. And basically, whoever is the owner of the organization can see this vault, and then you can have collections. So if let's go to the settings again of this organization. Manage collections. So it's already created a default collection. Let's just rename it just to make it a little bit easier to understand. So let's just call this the first collection. Hit save. And now I want to invite somebody to the organization and then ultimately to that collection. So I'm going to go ahead and invite Jane to this. I can add her as a regular user, and therefore they'll be able to access the assigned collections. I can add them as a manager, so they'll be able to manage collections as well. And then admins can see all the items and the collections and the users. And then, of course, you have the owner, which can see everything. So for now, I'm just going to put them down as a user. And then here I can say what collections this user has access to. So they can have access to all the collections, or they can have access to specific collections. So if I had a second collection, that would be down here. And I can say, okay, you have access to this one, but you only have read-only or hide passwords. Hide passwords doesn't really work very well, in my opinion. I've tried it a few different times, and I just don't find it works great, because sometimes you just need to be able to see those passwords and copy them to something you're trying to do. Read-only is nice if you're worried about somebody messing around with the system or accidentally deleting passwords and stuff. There is version history, which I can show you in a second. So you're never really, that data's not really gone, but if there's no reason for that user to be changing passwords or changing anything in the collection really, you can flag them as a read-only user. Anyways, I'm going to give this person, Jane Smith, access to everything just so you can get an idea of how it works. Perfect. So now Jane Smith is invited. And if I look at the vault here, I should be getting an invite here any second. So it says, hey, you can join this organization. So this was an email. I'll just click join in. Perfect. So now I'm a part of the organization. So if I go back to my vault, so this is Jane's, main vault. It's here. And then let's just refresh this here so I can actually see the organization. Let's do a fresh logout, log in. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot that I have to do this. So I'm not yet a part of the organization, because if you go back to this account, you'll see that it's been accepted, but you still have to confirm the user. So it's kind of a double verification. So if you go look at my account, here, your account's fingerprint phrase. That's what you want. So here you can actually confirm that that is in fact the right user phrase on this side as well. So basically it's just wanting to make sure, like, it's kind of a double check that you want to give this user access to your account. So just, it's tripped me up a few times, including now when I'm doing the demo. So just make sure that you go ahead and confirm them, and then they will have access. So here's the fingerprint phrase, here's the other fingerprint phrase, so you can compare them back and forth, and then you can hit confirm. Now Jane will be able to see the collection. It is a bit of a hiccup. It's a nice security feature, but it does trip you up sometimes if you don't do this from time to time. So now you can see Jane has access to this Tristan YouTube channel organization. And then now in this vault, we can go ahead and add things. So we're just going to add a secure note. Secret note. Super secret. So we can go ahead and hit save. But you have to select a collection. So you have to save first collection. So if you hit save, now it'll save it into that collection. So now if I take a look at the first collection over here, just take a second here to sync. I would go to the first collection, and now it's here as a secret note. And we can go ahead and change it and manipulate it. So now Jane can see everything that was in the original vault. However, Jane cannot see what's in my vault. So if Jane has her own vault, this particular user, which is just my YouTube demo account, has its own vault. And, for instance, Jane cannot see this Twitter account access. That is my vault. If I wanted to share that, what I could do is I could go ahead and hit edit or share. They keep changing these on me. Tristan's YouTube channel org, change it to the first collection, and off it goes. So now it'll move it from my vault into the organization's vault, and then it will share it into that collection. And then over here, it will sync up again. Let's refresh that. Log out, log back in. And then now that Twitter account is saved. The nice thing about this is that the Twitter account is not only saved, but also so is the one-time factor password. Now here's an interesting problem. Because Jane is on a free account, it can't actually register this TOTP. So this code is actually not working. Or if you look here, this code is working. And that's because this is a premium account. So this is definitely something you need to, pay attention. If you're mixing the accounts up with paid and unpaid accounts, then if you're using some of the premium features, the free account won't be able to do that. But if these were both free accounts, then you wouldn't trip into that problem, and off you go. If they're both premium accounts or family accounts, then you wouldn't trip into that problem either. So just know that that's a feature there. But once you do have both of them as premium, then you'll be able to see the TOTP features. So that's a really, that's basically it. You can create another collection. You can create, like I said, different usernames and passwords into those collections, and different users that would have different permissions into those collections. But you first have to start with an organization, and then off you go. And for some reason, like I said, you get two users, including yourself, so one other user, and 2 collections for free, and they don't highlight that on the website, which is a really great feature. One thing I'll just show you, if you are adding stuff using the widget, and so you're kind of maybe on the phone with somebody, or they're sitting right next to someone, and you add something right away, if they're not seeing it on their side right away, just make sure you go to settings, go to sync, and say sync your vault now. So if you've added something to the vault, hit sync the vault now, and then go have them do the same thing. So go settings, and then sync the vault now, and then it should sync it all up. And then you'll be able to see everything in all the collections. So if you look at my vault, you look at the secure notes, here's that secret note that's there. And if we go back to the logins, here's that Twitter account that's there. So it does still, it obviously works in the widgets. You don't have to be logged into the vault the whole time. But sometimes there is a delay in the sync if you kind of want it more real time. If you're not doing that in real time, I find the syncing, whatever frequency it's doing in the background, works just fine. But sometimes if you're like, I just added it to the collection, you should be able to see it. You might just need to do that sync on your side first and then on their side, and then they'll be able to look at it. So that's it, guys. That's what I wanted to show you, just a real quick, like, this is what collections are. Definitely very different. I came from LastPass before I went to Bitwarden, so it's very, very different from that sense. I'm used to just adding a username and into the LastPass and just sharing it out that way. So this is a little bit different. You have to have an organization. You have to invite them to the organization. You have to double invite them. Like, once they've accepted, you have to confirm. You can turn that off if you don't want to verify. And then you have to have these collections, and then you add them to those collections. So if it's something you're doing with someone a lot, that's really great. I find, if say my wife and I are doing it or something like that, that works really, really well because we're sharing things back and forth all the time. But I did like LastPass, for example, where maybe I just wanted to send something to my brother or my mom or something, just real quick, securely, just send them credentials and revoke those later. It's a little bit harder to do that now. I have to have a collection with them in it, and then kind of manage that collection. So there's a little bit more overhead to get them set up, but once they're in, then it's kind of a shared experience with respect to having those passwords all synced across the board. Definitely having that one-time password code in the vault if everyone's premium, or if you're using the family account, is really, really, really great. So now you can multi-factor your accounts, and you can share those multi-factors with everybody that has access to the collection. That's a huge win. You want to be careful about when you want to use two-factor authentication and actually store that in the vault. So that's up to you. It all depends on how strong everyone's vault is. But if someone has a weak vault where they don't two-factor it and they use a weak master password, and so then that vault gets broken into, and now they could get into all the other accounts if those multi-factors are also shared in there. So, when you're using those collections are only as strong as your weakest link. So you want to make sure that everyone is using very strong passwords and using two-factor authentications. I do have a video, if you haven't seen it, about how to secure your vault really, really well. So I'll include that in the description as well. And if you are adding people to the collection, maybe have them check that out and make sure that the vault is good. So keep that in mind with the second factor. It is a nice feature to store it in the collection, but maybe depending on what the account is, like if it's my Twitter account, I don't really care. I want to be able to collaborate on that. This was a demo Twitter account, so it's not the end of the world. But if it was my bank account or something like that, then I don't think I would store my second factor in the vault. I would maybe store that somewhere else, like using a YubiKey. So. Okay, guys, if you have any questions about that, just hit me up in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like. That means a lot to me. It gives me a good idea of how the videos are doing. And I try to reply to those comments pretty regularly. So if you have any questions, just hit me up. All right, have a good day. Bye.